Okay, I'd like to bring February. First up is MIS.
Okay. I believe our first one is we're renewing our 3-year for Google Workspace. There was a slight price increase, $95.5 a year. So that their sole source, that's the deal they gave us for 3 years. 1 year was going to be probably about 10 grand more a year.
All in favor? Oh, carried.
We're looking to adopt our artificial intelligence policy. We already have one department that's utilizing it, mental health. So I'd like to get a policy in place for usage and all that good stuff, and proper usage.
Yeah.
So.
Good idea.
Say, need a motion?
I'll second.
See if you like that.
All in favor?
Complicated.
Opposed?
Yes, it is.
It is complicated. Makes your head blow right off. We gotta start someplace.
It's amazing.
And my last one, it was at the request of our last audit to have a third-party remote access policy. So meaning any vendors that the county uses that log into remotely to our servers have to sign off on a policy that they will not be doing anything malicious.
I'll move it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up is planning. Promise not to break the law, right?
Promise you won't get any more.
Yeah.
Right.
They-
All criminals are honest, right?
Yeah. There's one.
Oh, ready?
Yep.
Okay. I have a resolution to, for authorization to appoint members to the Environmental Management Council. There are 2 members, one from the town of Canaan, Thomas Potter, and one from the town of Chatham, Karen Woodfield, for a 2-year term. I'd like to move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, thank you.
That was
That's
easy.
it?
We were waiting for you, but we would have moved it on.
Right.
Oh, well, you know, what is it? Variety is the spice of life.
Hey. No, I might change it. Yes, real property. Resolution here says we're gonna charge Clobber double, I think.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise you.
We didn't send that one.
Okay, all right.
I'll move it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, easy. Opposed?
Of course, the one I give him talk about.
Present.
Okay, so the next resolution request is to contract with GAR to do the valuation part of Clover's reval, and we've been contracting with them since 2020 for these projects. It's $20,000. It'll be paid for over a 3-year period, and $8,000 this year, which is budgeted.
Move it. Second. Wait a minute, discussion.
Yes,
8,000 this year, is it equal payments?
it's 8 this year, 8, and 6.
Oh,
Yes.
6 of that. I was just
Last,
making sure
yeah.
you had the 6 down and not 8 all the way through. So
You can turn part over. You
I
can
know.
be left over.
all in favor?
Aye.
Carries with your man.
That doesn't, wait,
It's
that's
actually
only 24,000.
It's to 8.
8, and
4.
6.
4.
Oh,
Okay.
well, let's just.
See, I don't know. Well, I got it lower than 8. I figured I was doing good.
8, and 4.
Is Kimmy paying for it?
It's a 27.
He was.
Yes, he is.
I moved to 6.
It's a, it's for 2027.
Jeez.
Did you say all those?
All I know, I knew when you were gonna bring it up with us, something's
Did you-
gonna go wrong.
Did you finish it? All those in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
We're good with that?
The amended
Well,
was
next one.
on the 24,000
Okay.
one.
So the last resolution request we have is for, I mentioned this, I think the last time, the company systems development group, SDG, has been taken over by Schneider Geospatial LLC. In August of last year, they acquired them, and our contract has come up for SDG. We're still looking at another vendor, but for now, we want to keep Image Made Online, SDG for one more year, which is what we've been doing on an annual basis. It's the same price. They're not going to change the program anytime soon, so it's what our customers are used to seeing. And it's $5,100 for April 1 through March 31. It's just a different company that we have to contract with.
I'll move it.
Same company, new name, how's that?
Same product, yes,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, they don't, their new product, I say new, it's new to New York State, but they don't have a version of the New York State, yet.
Okay.
So we don't want to contract something we haven't seen. And the other vendor, we haven't seen it specifically for, our county.
Okay.
But we will be, so.
Okay, I have a first and a second, all in favor? Aye. Sure.
So, and then I just had other topics on the original agenda about some things that are happening. I'll be going to the directors conference and Mark will be taking a class there on tax mapping the first day of the conference, and then he's going to stay for the afternoon part with me. And we've got another employee that's going to take a valuation class right from our office, a virtual one. And the data collectors will be starting in the village of Philmont in early March. And we also have a new employee. Thank you. We have our tax map technician trainee started last week.
Good.
Excited to have her there. So.
I have a question.
Yes. Yeah.
So I got, today I was talking to a person and they said to me, they said, so when they go put their new house up, they're putting in for a 2-bedroom, blah, blah, blah house.
Yeah.
Okay, then after they've got it all done with the town and everything for taxes, then they come back for the exemption for farm. So how do we know?
Well,
And
they can.
So in other words, they could put another couple bedrooms in once they got 2 bedrooms.
Exemption for farm, for agriculture.
Does an agricultural exemption, after you got it all set for the 2 bedrooms, they're gonna put in another bedroom because you don't know about it. We don't go in their building, you don't go in to see what's there.
No, we don't.
And then on top of that, they go for the exemption on top of that.
For an agricultural
Yeah.
exemption. They can do an agricultural exemption.
Whatever.
That only applies to the land, so
Okay.
that's not gonna impact.
But they just said, they were just telling me and I'm sitting there, okay, keep talking. I want to hear what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if any of the property that they're farming, let's say they're farming property now, and they decide to put a house up on some of that property that's being farmed and is receiving an agricultural exemption, then there's a penalty, that pretty stiff penalty that's applied to that portion of the property that they would be subject to, that's no longer being part of the agricultural exemption.
But when somebody
So-
puts an extra bedroom in their house, once the house is
We don't
strictly
know.
built, we don't know that.
No.
And we never go in
And
and
I don't
check.
think the building
Yes, we do.
department knows that
We
either.
do, because you have to get a building permit in most towns to have it.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
so
that-
that's,
Unless they don't go to town and get a building permit.
but
They never
our
go to that.
data collectors,
That's my problem.
our data collectors will not.
You
know.
would not know because you're not
No.
allowed in the building.
But they may be able to tell if there's an addition. I mean, lots of times when they're out, they're seeing,
Additional footprint.
yes, and, or they're seeing, construction that's happening right then, and then they're noting that and providing that to the assessor.
But that's also, isn't that why the building permit officer, the code officer copies all of his building permits to the assessor so that she can
Should be,
Should be, yeah.
in a perfect world,
so they update
Yeah.
their records.
but some,
Doesn't work
And then
that
you send
perfectly.
out, we send out a
doesn't-
card every January that says, please update your property data card, right? Or at least we do routinely.
if that's what, yeah. And we do that through the data collection process too. After everything's been collected, then we do, the town sends out a mailer that we that says, please review this inventory and.
I'm just seeing in houses and then all of a sudden the house is there and then the next thing they got a pool. I don't know what's exempt or not exempt. You know, if it's
Right.
above ground pool, an in-ground pool, blah, 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 blah,
And
blah,
that's
blah.
not
And they don't
exempt.
come for permits, but
Right.
yet we find out they're on the property.
But
Especially
once,
with the,
once we go to that property and we collect the data, then anything that happens after that date is, you know, will be up to the assessor to verify if there is a building permit that,
and I understand
along
once
in
they
that.
sell, if they sell the property,
yeah,
then they'll get caught. We're finalizing that in our town to make sure once it comes to the assessor's office, and it has to go to the building permit to make sure that they are okay with everything that's on that thing where they assess it when they go back to
Right.
sell it. So,
and some assessors do send out, a notice when the property sells at which, you know, ask them to verify the inventory at that point in time
You
to.
can capture a
A
lot of
sales
real estate ads,
sales
you know.
verification letter. Yeah,
I mean, most people are pretty good, but there's always some that are gonna try to get away with something.
that's why you always find inventory out there with every collection because, you know,
Right.
and some people just don't know that they have to get a
Right.
building permit for a shed that they have brought in. You know, they don't realize that. So,
And not that we're looking to go after them, but it's just, you know,
right,
but some know how to play the game is what I'm saying, and they know how to do this stuff, you know.
right. Yeah, but we're just focused on the data verification and. But did you have a question?
I did. A couple of months ago, you mentioned the fact that all the assessors were going to be up for renewal or reappointment in October. I just wondered, have you heard back? Because you were concerned about potentially some gaps.
Right. And I don't think I've heard from any municipality yet at this point that has reappointed. I'm expecting ones that will reappoint, but I don't believe that there's been
Can we
any.
reappoint anytime before that, or?
I
we
do,
have to-
I am, yes, you can,
You can do it anytime before
Okay.
that?
yes.
Okay, in this calendar year.
Yes.
And it would still be the same term, October to.
Yeah, it has to
You just said
start
it's effective,
October
yeah.
1st and it's got to run 6 years
So what
to
about
September
a new
30th.
assessor who would?
Yeah.
We have to appoint them, say, next
Only
month.
till the end of this, you'd be appointing them to the end of this current term, so till September
Then we
30th
have
of
to reappoint
25. Then you'd have to reappoint them,
Okay.
October 1 of 25 through September 30th of.
So Kim has notified us that she will be returning for an 11 chat. Okay, thank you.
Anybody got any other questions?
Message for you could share with Chrissy and Jane for me, you know, the, Stuyvesant Fire Company subdivision that they were working on with us. Pete Allstein did a new, board chairman has stamped it. Pete just sent leaps and bounds to Tal today for a deed. So I hope to have that before March 1st for you, but it's gonna be close, so.
Right.
So
And you'll-
tell them,
You're
it's,
gonna file it?
yeah, it's, you know,
Yeah.
the map is there and Pete just signed up to meet some bounds. We've been waiting on Pete for a while.
Right.
Thank God he's still doing it for us.
Yeah.
So anyway, tell him it's coming.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Next up is human resources.
Hello, everybody. Okay, so just requesting, asking permission to have the youth apprenticeship programs request R3 for the county again. Myself, Tony DeMarco, our highway director, met with Jim Church, our representative from Questar. We've got 2 youth that are very interested in coming to interview to do the shadowing part of it. But kind of the success story is the young gentleman who came last year because they come in their junior year. When he graduates in June, he wants to come work for the county. So we're very, very, very happy about that. They loved him. He's really, really good.
I'm happy to move that.
He's got a good future ahead of him.
We have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
For that.
there you go.
As always, excited to offer our summer youth employment program. Same guidelines, same rate of pay, $17.25 an hour. Doing it from the day following Memorial Day through the Friday before Labor Day, with the 12 positions as we've done the last couple of years.
Move it. Second.
Thank you. First.
All in favor?
Third, whatever.
Awesome program.
Yeah, thank you. We love this. It's good. And it's wonderful to see the interest in it from the youth again. Like we had a couple of years there where they weren't, and last year was amazing. They had all spots full. So this is in reference to, we had a newly appointed department head that came on after retirement, who is subject to the record of activities for New York State pension reporting. She completed her 3 consecutive months, and therefore we need to record her hours.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
That's it. No math.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Any other
All
questions?
right. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you.
Congrats again on the insurance.
Oh, yes.
Tourism agenda?
That is really good news. And I'll get that policy.
Let's see, up first. So I'm seeking approval to attend the Philadelphia Flower Show. Once again, we've done this show many years as part of the New York's Best Experiences. It will be, the show's actually paid for. It's part of a pull-up I would do with that company. So it's just going to be permission for me to travel for the Columbia County Day and one overnight.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried.
And the next one is a resolution to enter into a contract with Berkshire Distribution. They've handled distribution for us in the past. We will be going into 3 locations with this year's guide once printed.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Have a good one.
Board Supervisor, is that you, Kelly, or?
Oh, yeah, okay,
Mhm.
I forgot. This is our every 2-year, resolution, so we can collect the additional 1% tax on sales and compensating uses within the county of Columbia.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
So what will that make the total tax be?
4%. Well, 4% for us, and then there's 4% from the state. So
It's been this way for years, though, right?
Right, yeah. This is, you have to
I just
renew
was
it.
questioning, I thought it was additional.
if
No,
no, if
well-
we didn't pass this, it would be 7%.
Okay, but it says additional 1% tax. That was
Yeah.
the reason.
Right.
So
For the
it's-
county.
So it would be 7, and then
the
with
state
this
law
additional
allows us to have 7, but then we ask for another one.
Okay, so
The
this
the
is
addition is
historically,
renewing, we're renewing our addition.
that's what
Yeah.
that's the clarification.
Nothing's changing.
May I have a first and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
And then this is the, transfer tax of real property within the county of Columbia.
I'll move
We
it.
do.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, carried. Is that it?
That's good for me.
I remember when some idiot held that 1% hostage.
Okay. Chris. Nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a while.
Names on over there in that corner?
Tough group over there, I think.
I was just reminiscing.
Miss you, pal. I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know.
I'm not.
I have,
We have
Yeah, I have,
to-
some contract negotiations and litigation, so I'd like to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion. We enter into investor session for contractual.
I'll second that.
You got a second?
Second.
All in favor? I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, carried.
Thank you.
All right. Gonna call the Public Works meeting to order. It is 5:00 and Tony is here, and first we have Highway.
Hi, Tony.
Kathy. It's a meeting.
Watch it. Tony. She wants something.
All our salt sheds empty?
Not yet. Not yet. We did get a load of salt today in Hudson. That's the first one in what, Chris, like 2 weeks that we got in Hudson? I think we found the very first pile that was ever dumped in the new salt shed, I think.
Dug deep, huh?
All right, work schedule, snow and ice control, equipment maintenance, brush, dead trees, the usual patching potholes, stockpiling sand, not really too much salt, and preparing our summer work schedule. Personnel update, we got 1 employee out on extended medical leave, and we have 1 that went out on, I guess it would be comp yesterday, so. No new business, and resolution requests. The first one is authorization to extend the bids for the following service contracts. That's the pavement marking, guide rail, pavement milling, shoulder mills.
Second. A motion and a second, all in favor?
And the second one is to authorize the purchase of one 2025 Case 521G loader.
Move it. I got a question on that, Bill.
That's, yes.
I'll second it though, so we can get through the contract.
What are we doing with this loader? After we buy it? What's the main purpose of the loader?
It goes to the outpost and it will load salt, sand, it loads, does tree work, it does everything. Each outpost has their own loader.
Okay,
So that's what this is replacing.
is it gonna be big enough? I
Yes,
was looking at this.
this one is, this is going to, I believe this is our new Lebanon loader. And it's
Okay.
gotta be that size to fit in the garage.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
figured there was a reason, because
Yeah,
it's
that-
awful small.
yeah, and that one, its main job is up, because that outpost is only open from November through like April. And then it's closed for the summer. So that will become like a secondary loader down in Ghent, but, so its main purpose up in Kinderhook or New Lebanon is for loading trucks and.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying you need a bigger garage?
I
Well, it
received.
just needs a softball.
We started on that a couple years ago, I
Have you
think.
ever been
but-
up to New Lebanon? It's a
Small
shack.
loader with a big bucket.
And there is one change on here, Kelly, you can put on the resolution, there's an updated,
Yes.
source code contract.
Jim gave it to me.
Okay,
Yeah, he wrote it
perfect.
down. So,
Okay, yeah.
so you have a motion.
So we have motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Where are we? Number 3, authorization to fill one welder grade 15B in the highway
Move it.
department.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Next is authorization to fill one vacant MEO 1. in the highway
Move it.
department.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Authorization to fill one HEMM grade 15B in the highway department.
No, that's not the.
What are we looking at?
Yeah, what are we looking at?
Did I skip one?
This is a 2-year agreement with Auctions International.
Yeah, I have that in number 6. So, you know.
I'm missing one.
Oh, you just had it, I saw it.
That's the one.
That's the
welder.
That's
Oh, there
MEO.
it is.
No, that's
That's
MEO.
the MEO
That
1.
one.
This
And what was
is
the
the,
next one?
this is the motor equipment operator.
Yeah,
We
which,
just
do you
did.
have another one?
No, that's the only
Yeah.
motor equipment operator I got is.
Hold on one second.
So is everybody else
Yeah.
using the welder then, I guess? Oh, the one that's going, it's pretty beat, I mean, it's old school, it's an 86 cat, you know, and we've used it as a spare for that. You know, it's just fine into that, you know, one of the ones that we hold on, to, you know. Yeah, it's, you know. You want this one? You want this one?
MEO, here we are. Got it.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. Well, give me that, I'll sign that one.
Sorry.
So I gotta move this one?
If you move it, I'll second.
Okay, there you go.
We have a motion and a second for the, oh, this is a welder.
The one that's on the screen.
Oh, did I give you the welder?
Yeah.
That's it.
on purpose.
I really.
I'm reading it, you're saying
want that welder.
You can get the welder.
All in favor?
All in favor? All right, thank you.
So do you have people for these positions?
I do have a welder application. He's
Okay.
been waiting for the position. He's currently working, so he's aware that it's gonna be a little bit before we, can fill it, but he's just waiting. But yeah, we actually do have one application.
Okay.
Are we competitive with wages versus the private sector and welding?
I don't really know. I mean, I'm gonna say probably not. But
Well, you just got a guy coming from the private sector looking at it, right? So that's a good-
Right. It's so seldom that we have to, I mean,
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
you know, the only reason we're replacing our previous welder is because he went out on his own,
Wow,
so.
we went on his own.
So Tony, you started to do the Auction International one there? We
Yeah,
started to
that's,
do that?
to, renew our 2-year agreement with Auctions International.
Second. Motion and a second, all in favor? Auctions International.
And I think that's it, huh? Yep.
Questions for Tony other than when it's gonna stop snowing and icing?
You probably looked it up.
Yeah.
There's nothing really for the next 2 weeks, is there? And so far, it looks pretty good.
Next week, they're saying some days even above freezing. What do you know?
Jeez, we'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
So,
No other questions for Tony? We'll move on to solid waste.
Good to see you, Tony.
Same here. Bring this back to Kelly, so I don't lose it.
Oh, hey, Mike, can you sign? I'm sorry. So it's for contract for the, highway intermunicipal. agreement.
Yeah.
Right after.
Get the Gail going today, Wendy?
So just an FYI, our scale was down all day today. Snow and ice was not nice to us.
Figured that was the cause, right?
It was frozen solid. We spent the day digging it out. Put it back together about 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's grabbing weight properly now, so it should be up and running tomorrow morning.
Good.
Kelly, I'll give you a heads up if it's, because I'm.
When I saw your email this morning, I thought, I bet it's frozen. It's just,
I
you
didn't
know,
think of that.
everything else is.
It was not a regular frozen. Usually we can get the loader over it and loosen it up or something like that. This was,
Packed full of
this
stuff.
was pretty packed full. So we'll be doing some work on that in the spring.
Okay.
Just stuff that fell along the edges and.
Yeah, it went under
Yeah.
at the,
Yeah, I've dealt with it.
yeah, so it just, we couldn't get any movement on it. It was stuck on net for the morning and then we couldn't get, and then we realized that the scale wasn't moving at all. And so
Bigger loader.
yeah. Well, honestly, we did bring, the big truck with the 100-yarder on the back of it and full of garbage to try and weigh it. And then usually that will do it. But the two ends were filled right up to the top with, frozen earth, basically.
Been ugly lately. That's what it
So we
is.
borrowed the salamander from Highway, thawed it out, dug it out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's working tomorrow.
Great.
But so if I smell, that is why. Just FYI.
Anybody who's worked around a salamander understands.
It's not someone usually so close to me.
Has a job.
So for regular updates, annual reports were finished, grant application was finished, the Greenport Transfer Station permit renewal application was submitted on the 23rd. I did
Good
get
job.
an email from the state saying that all of the information that they had requested to start has been
Was there
submitted.
anyway, okay.
They may ask for additional information as they go forward, but we were given the go-ahead that even if they don't get the permit renewed
Yep.
by August, we are in compliance even after that. So
Awesome. Good job.
great news. The biennial local solid waste management plan update for the 22-23 revisions. I did those revisions and resubmitted it on the 29th of January. Station attendants are noticing photocopies of recycling stickers, and this is what they look like when they're photoed. No, I'm not kidding. So, there's been they've been trying to take them if they've been photocopied, explaining why they aren't supposed to be photocopied. We've had, we've had a lot of, not a lot, but many residents are stating that they will not put the sticker on their vehicles. And I can share some of the excuses that we're hearing. One particularly was a resident from, that owns, or rents an apartment down in the city, refused to put it on their vehicle because then the landlord would know that they have a building or a home
Stay
here
home.
and their roof would go up. So it's.
Yeah.
Those-
First world problems.
This is what we're dealing with, and this is what's happening because of it. So, I mean, it's a problem.
I'm doing it on a laser jet. That looks like an inkjet.
Yeah.
You're much better.
I have to say the garbage tags, the photocopies of those were a little bit nicer looking, you know, were a little more legit than this, but they are finding them. This was just one that I brought in. I mean, it is on clear paper. It looks like a sticker. They laminated it. There was
They spent some time on it.
there was time.
So what's the fix?
That's a good question. You know, we're just confiscating it, at the time. Actually, this particular individual was not allowed to get rid of their recycling unless they paid a $5 one-time fee. They were given the sticker by, someone they work for. So I actually was able to find out, who the individual is and, made a call.
To call their landlord?
No, I called the individual.
That's making.
Who shared,
I
well, who
called
shared the
individual
original, right?
that shared their original, and just kind of went over the rules and regulations.
Legalities.
And so another, sticker was purchased for, the
Good.
person that was doing the recycling for her. All of the business, you know, all my guys have business cards now. They're giving them out all the time. I'm reordering them all the time. And it's basically, you know, you have a question, call my
Yeah,
boss,
right,
here
yeah,
you go.
yeah,
I have received like 3 calls, I think.
Yeah.
So they're not coming back and calling me. So that's what we're doing right now. Our Eco-Rich machine grinder, or the machine itself was down from the 17th through February 5th, which was a really long time. The grinder actually had to be taken out of it, repaired off-site, and then brought back in. It is up and running. We got it up and running by about Wednesday, the 5th, and all the containers were returned to all the stations by the 8th. So we are collecting just like we were before. And then I have 1 full-time labor out on workers' comp. That will end February 29th. Well, no, there's not a 29th this year, so March 1st.
Yeah.
So I will be going to point 1, looking to hopefully fill that. And I've had 2 part-time laborers that have been out on an extended period of time due to personal issues.
Does the grinder have an hour meter on it?
No,
Yeah, the repairs on your bond.
yes.
I missed the last meeting, so this has
Okay.
been brought up before, excuse me, but my town clerk, the average age in Hillsdale is like 97. So it was really a lot of people coming in, and it was kind of tough on my clerk. I said, I'd bring it up for next year. I don't know if there's anything we can do. Can we do this by mail with, like, you have to check the date of birth. I know it's the problem. Like, will voter rolls suffice if we have the voter rolls? But you're not registered to vote, send in, I don't know, but we had a lot of people. And it was,
Your clerk gets to meet all those people.
Yeah.
Don't use it as a campaign trick.
You can't do any of her work. It's just,
Vote for me, vote for them.
I'm sorry.
That's my fault.
Now, so
I wanted to reserve the seat.
No, and I agree with you. I was like, I had the thought right after you.
Well, if we do issue them early.
Yeah.
Right, and so I was saying, when we issue them earlier, that affects
The year's revenue.
the year's revenue,
Ah.
right? So I can't take our sales from December and hold them until January. But also,
It's only gonna matter the first year.
but it is only gonna matter the first year. And so this is obviously a conversation that we can have moving
Okay.
forward. The clerks have sent their monthlies to our office. I've asked to be able to see them. So
Yeah.
I know that all of the
Oh, yeah.
clerks across the board are selling, we're delivering
A lot.
stickers back to clerks that
We
have
ran
only
out.
sold, yes,
Yeah.
have only sold a few, and now they're selling a lot more.
Right.
My clerk was kind of enthralled by it, though. She liked their extra revenue.
Yeah.
People were coming, but
Yeah, it's just,
she was okay with it,
The hard time is because they're doing taxes.
It's because it's
Yeah.
tax season as
Yeah.
well. I understand completely, so it's a conversation. I mean,
Yeah, no.
if, the committee
Well, should
agrees
have,
that
sure.
they can sell a couple of weeks earlier, that's
Right.
up for,
like we were thinking special hours on Saturday and have it done for, I don't know what, but
yeah,
it was a little disruptive. Just,
sure.
you know.
Well,
We
we
did get
found
the
it'd be
meeting
nice
last
if our clerk was open on Saturday because we're right next door to the transfer
Yeah.
station. We got a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
showing up saying, hey, anybody here?
Yeah.
I'm there because of the free store, but if we had a clerk there, we would sell a lot on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're paying your clerk's salary. Yeah, he's elected official. All right, well, we got time, but just want to voice that and thank you for hearing
Of
that.
course.
You tell my clerk I did mine.
Yeah. We'll think of something different, hopefully maybe next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's just a conversation. There are things we can do to.
Well, then it'll be
Mitigate it.
Christmas and then they don't want to work during Christmas.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they went for sale December, the 16th, 18th, around that time frame, right? So it was a couple of weeks before the end of the year. So if that looks like we're doing it December 1st instead, then we do it December 1st. And it will only affect this year's revenue.
Right. But I would like to
Or
kind of,
next
after we
year's.
get through this
So,
year, to
but-
see how many we did this because, we thought we were selling
Right.
too many seniors, at the stations, and we wanted to verify that a senior eligibility. So we did it this way, but, we take a look at the numbers after we get them for a while and see
Right.
where we're at, but what we sold and,
The problem is they were used to going to the town to get them right there.
Yeah, I
Now,
know.
all of a sudden, No, you gotta go back to the
Well,
town.
right.
Why
And so
didn't they get passed off to the towns?
it was to
Just to
preserve
see.
the senior fee.
Just-
Just the seniors.
It's only, well, I mean, obviously you're selling all, right? You're selling the senior permit and the regular county permit. But our stations are only selling the $75 sticker. We're not selling to seniors.
We were gonna eliminate.
Because they're selling the
Yeah.
55-year-old.
Were, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you stopped.
And
before.
it was suggested
Everybody
that.
was a senior.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was suggested instead of eliminating the senior sticker, we'll put the clerks on it. They'll do due diligence, making sure that everyone is, purchasing a sticker of the proper age. And that took, that out of our hands.
Right, because one of the issues that the attendants were running into is that they're busy trying to work with the people at the stations, dealing with folks coming in, either assisting them, whatever the case may be, and then having to deal with the age verification when they were trying to sell these senior tickets, which was problematic because it's taking their eyes off of their job and their duties
Right.
as materials are coming in. So the thought process was, since the committee wanted to keep the seniors, to put the onus onto the town and the town clerks, where there would be more time at the town clerk level for them to verify the age as far as selling the seniors.
I do remember the conversation.
Just to let you know, no issues in Angry.
Oh, well. You got a young town there. You got a young town.
And if she says there is, you let me know.
If you move it up, like you said, beginning of December,
Yeah.
so it gives them 4 weeks to get out there and do it. Then
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's by mail is a possibility.
It's
Check
not,
it.
it's just because then do they get it? Did they not get it? I didn't get the
Right.
sticker in the
Okay.
mail, or I got the
Alright.
sticker in the mail. There's too many
Never mind.
variables with the
And
mail.
everybody would be
Yeah.
senior,
Yeah.
then,
Well, you have to verify still.
how do you verify?
Yeah.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
But I did, I contacted OFA and they sent me a file for a trifold, so my clerk
Perfect.
is getting them out, so maybe we can do that with all the supervisors.
Yeah, and I offered Nina, I told her, we still have that clientele coming to us as well, and we'd be more than happy to just have it available and, as a handout as well when they come to this, because they come to the stations, they
Yep.
chit chat with our guys, everyone knows them, so we would be more than willing to we have places to put handouts as well. So she was gonna give me some as well that I could distribute.
Yeah, and maybe
So-
the supervisors would all like them, so I'll have her send the file.
Okay.
Maybe I printed them in-house just for the sake of logistics. but-
Yep.
What's the subject at home?
It's the OFA's current, prospectus.
Newsletter.
Yeah.
So. provide
It's
all the
a-
services.
yeah, it's
It's a trifold, single page.
It's very condensed. It's quite lovely. I actually have a copy of it. I can email it for
That'd
it
be
to you.
great.
So, yeah. Yep. And so this is January's numbers. Food scraps down because our grinder was down,
Right.
and that's it.
Thank you.
Any questions for Wendy?
Thanks, Wendy. Do you think the grinder issues are associated with weather too, or?
No, so the grinder, we've been having issues with this grinder for quite a while now, so we knew that there was ball bearing issues. We knew that there was issues. We didn't realize, nor did they, that the extent of the damage to the grinder was what it was. When they finally took the grinder out, there was a lot of bag debris there. Probably from the initial first few months of us using that, because we have the contamination rate is quite low now. And we get the occasional fork or spoon or something random that goes through. So it wasn't that. If it needs to be replaced again for whatever reason, it will be replaced with a much larger unit.
I just want to make sure that if this was a systemic problem, the repair or replacement takes place under warranty, so it's not on our nickel.
So we did do a signed warranty with them, and I did get the extension for the 2 years. And as long as it's not user error, everything is covered under warranty. So
Thank you.
yeah.
All right. Thank you, Wendy.
Feel better, Wayne.
Thanks.
Up next, we have engineering.
Hi, Ray.
Mr. Jerkowski.
Supervisors?
That's how I am. I say hello to everybody all the time.
Careful, Royce, you want something?
It's gonna cost you something. Stuyvesant, starting off with bridges. So Stuyvesant Falls Bridge, the project submittal package has been submitted to Department of Transportation. The engineering department did participate in a virtual meeting with representatives of DOT to review the Section 106 process, which is the historic aspects of that, identifying what properties and structures may be affected, associated with the project. So as part of that process, which we knew that we were going to have to go through, and we knew that since it was federally funded project, DOT did invite both the town of Stuyvesant as well as historic Stuyvesant as participants, what they call consulting agencies, to be part of that process as well. So they've added those in addition to SHPO, which is a standard item, Indian Nations as well. And then they sent letters out to the town of Stuyvesant and also historic Stuyvesant. Once those, yes, I'm sorry, and the town historian. Once those correspondences come back that they either want to participate or not participate, we would think within the next 30 to 60 days, we'll actually have a new kickoff meeting with all of the agencies and representatives involved as well. Okay. So again, as I mentioned before, that will be a long process.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
We're off and running.
For our 2024 projects, we did complete our scoring of the statements of qualifications for the 2 bridges and the 1 culvert. And so we selected those consultants, and we're now reaching or have reached out to them for fee proposals. So once we get the fee proposals in, we'll negotiate fees and then come before committee for approval of contracts. County Route 7 over the Rojan, construction contracts have been signed. Shop drawings for the new 3-sided precast culvert, well, actually it's a bridge based on the span, have been submitted and reviewed. It is anticipated that that will go into production in the March timeframe, which would then allow us to hit the ground running in the spring. There are some restrictions as far as when we can be into the stream because it is a trout spawning stream. So contractor is limited to work within the stream limits between June 30th and September 30th. But he can do a lot of the prep work as well. On that particular project, based on its proximity to Tinker Hill and the span of the bridge, we do need to go ahead and utilize a soldier pile wall structure to hold back the soil by the intersection of Tinker Hill. I actually attended a meeting last night at the town of Gallatin Town Hall, meeting with the town board to see whether the town would be open to allow traffic onto Tinker Hill and off of Tinker Hill through the town parking lot. Because Tinker Hill is actually a dead end road that only has 2 residences on it. One of them normally is not occupied. So it's very limited as far as any traffic. And by doing so, by allowing that to take place, we may be able to get rid of that soldier pile wall, and then we're able to slope the soils back, but it goes back into the intersection. But it would be a substantial cost savings. Town is agreeable to that, so we'll continue to pursue that with the contractor as far as potential change order and see what other savings we may have.
Great.
In addition, I also discussed the Mill Hill Road Bridge, which again is a county-owned bridge on a town roadway just within a mile of the other project. That project currently is out to bid. We did gain approvals from DOT for that as far as the design. It is a county-funded project in its entirety. I anticipate getting bids back at the March 6th meeting, and I would request a special meeting prior to the March 12th full board meeting to potentially award that project. By awarding it in March, that would still allow us to potentially get that built this year. Okay. County Route 7 over the Punza Creek, another Bridge of New York project. Excuse me, the final construction documents have been reviewed by the engineering department, and we've submitted to New York State DOT for final approval so we can get that out to bid. All of the easements have been obtained. Payments have been made to the property owner on those. So if all goes well, I hope to be ready to go out to bid in April. I actually did have to go and obtain an extension for that bridge project because the funding was going to run out within the next 12 months. So the DOT did award that extension for us, but they wanted to know the time frame, and they've indicated that they'll try to turn that review around so we can get it out to bid. If that happens in April, it's questionable of whether we would be able to actually get that constructed in this construction season. It may have to span into the next year. Highway wise, the engineering department, we completed our review of the 28 statements of qualifications for Region 8 under the local design service agreement. So those were sent into Orange County and New York State DOT, and we have now received the draft list of the 15 approved consultants, and we'll be working off of that list in the upcoming projects in the upcoming years. And again, that's good from 2025 to 2029. 911 call center.
Right before you move on from highway, did we schedule a CTAC meeting yet? We talked about that last month.
No, I do need to send in a correspondence to request the CTAC as well as seeking additional funding.
We're ready though.
But yes, we are.
Yeah.
Now I have the information. Now that that's been submitted to DOT on Stuyvesant, and I have the updated anticipated cost associated with the project.
Right.
One of the reasons for going to CTAC and holding that meeting is to request additional funding.
Okay.
I'd attend that.
Didn't want to lose
If
it.
you want to send me an email, I find them very educational. Great. Thank you.
911 center roof trusses have been delivered. Contractor is starting or has started their structural framing of the addition. They are off site this week just because it's a complete block of ice. But other than that, they remain ahead of schedule. Even though they're losing this particular week, they're still ahead of schedule by about 2 weeks. If all goes well, excuse me, they anticipate that the building would be enclosed as far as the building envelope by the end of March, which would then allow the other trades to come in and start doing their interior work as well. Very impressed with the contractors to date, though. They've been really pushing the schedule, very organized as far as submittals, dealing with issues as they may come up, which there haven't been too many, but the team as a whole has been working out very well. So, it's been a good project so far. 11 Warren Street, attended a meeting with New York State ILS regarding the drawdown, excuse me, of the available grant funds before the end of June. So we compiled a list of items that we're going to pre-purchase, which included office furniture, the cubicles, which the committee and the full board approved this past month. But we're also looking at pre-purchasing HVAC equipment, generator, electrical fixtures such as lights, looking at even the fire alarm system, since we can utilize that off of state bid. So we're working with Central Services right now, trying to get those items together for procurement purposes, because we still have to follow our procurement policy. And then, get that procured by the end of March and then get the money spent down before the end of June. That being said, working with Central Services, which they've been great, I just did not have the time of getting those materials and getting those quotes back before this meeting. So I'll be going before a finance committee, for approval by the finance committee on those items prior to going to full board meeting, next March. But I just wanted to make sure that the committee was aware that I wasn't circumventing Public Works. It just was a timing issue that I just didn't have that information together. EV chargers. So awaiting information back from National Grid regarding the cost of the new pole installation. They have provided pole locations. So if you go down to the courthouse, you'll see where they're proposing to put poles on the county property, leading to the EV charger location. We're just waiting. Their design team has been out. They're just waiting for the estimate to come back at this point. They've identified that that's their, at this point, their second preferred.
Yeah.
They had their original preferred layout, which they then changed to this particular location. So we're just waiting for them. Again, how this power gets to the site is up to National Grid.
They're gonna bear the expense of the tree cutting on our property.
It will be included as part of the project as a whole. And again, they also, under the program, excuse me, they also help fund that work as well.
Great. Well, I looked at those trees and they're shot
Yeah,
silver
you
maples or
mentioned, yeah.
shot, you take them all down.
Yeah, the ones that are on the county, yeah, the only tree trimming that they've identified to date and taking down are the ones on the county property, and they are in bad shape.
Oh,
Yeah, they're in very bad shape.
Question, can we get more information at any point about, we live, in the area, exactly. Discuss it. Can we get more information about how many trees you're talking about cutting down in the park? The routing of the power line will go on the other side of West Court Street, is that correct? Where the existing line still is? I'm just.
Well, the pole locations are shown, they're actually stakes in the ground right
They're
now.
staying right across the street. from
Right,
our
so
house.
that's, yeah, so that's gonna be the routing that National Grid has proposed.
So it's gonna go, so just to clarify, it's gonna be on the south side of West Court Street where there's an existing line, then go back across?
Correct.
So that's what, so the trees that you're talking about taking down are which ones?
The ones on county property,
In the park itself,
on
in
county
the
property.
square?
Yeah, it's on county.
Courthouse, yeah.
Correct.
Right, yeah, I understand.
Apparently, there's also an alternative plan that doesn't impact anybody who's living on the, we heard that, it didn't happen on Allen Street, which was the original proposal. And there's another opportunity to come through the back of the courthouse and not go in front of anybody's house or put up more power lines. It wouldn't impact anybody on the square. We wrote letters. I'm not sure if anybody received them.
I would be next to the National Grid.
Yeah, because, yeah, I was gonna say, if you sent them to National Grid are the ones that are dictating how the routing is taking place.
But do you have ultimate jurisdiction over their decision about how to route lines?
No, National Grid, that's the,
But they're a private company,
No, they're a utility.
they're utility. But they could just route lines anywhere in the county without any, interaction with the board.
no, they do have interaction with us, but the routing, they determine the route,
But if you didn't favor that routing, could you influence them?
potentially.
So what we're suggesting is that there might be a third route, which we could go on, is it Power Street or Power Avenue? And then come up on this other side of the courthouse property. And that way it wouldn't go in front of any residences at all.
But there are currently power poles on West Court,
You're talking about putting a meter 60 foot.
but there are currently power poles on that same location that run down that entire roadway. No, they would replace the ones that are there.
But
But again, they're power poles that are there.
Yeah, but
So
the
argument, the fact that they're power poles, they're currently power poles with light fixtures and wires running between those power poles now.
But they're streetlights on the courthouse side.
Right, but there's still power poles and there's wires running between those power poles.
Yeah, we understand that. We look at them every day.
Okay.
But what I'm saying now, those poles are gonna be replaced with a taller pole, whether it be transformers on those poles. There will be one additional pole, right, that's where it's staked out, right,
Mhm.
across the street. It'll cross and go to this. So there will be larger poles, taller, correct?
Correct.
there will be removal of how many trees in the square?
I believe that there were two that they've identified. We haven't gotten the final
Right.
estimate from them as far as their layout plan, but when we were in the field, National Grid has identified at least two.
And how many on Partition Street?
They did not indicate any on Partition Street.
It just seems like a shame because the courthouse, the court square already had a large number of trees recently removed along West Court Street, and it's really detracted from the character of this historic square. So to remove more trees and erect taller, more intrusive poles, it would be nice to avoid that.
Well, unfortunately, those trees also have a limited longevity. You can see the mushrooms and growth, and that's where you have deadwood, and you can see it in the crotch of that big, beautiful tree on the corner. You can see where the utility put an anchor bolt right through another tree. You can see where root flares are rotten. So, you know, they have a limited lifespan anyway.
Yeah,
Is there?
the last time you ground down the tree that was cut down, that broke right across from my house, has been a replacement. Is there in the plan to replace those trees with new trees? Is that?
That's a good question that I can't answer.
We did discuss that with National Grid because National Grid has indicated that they do have a tree replacement
There's a
program,
program,
and
yeah.
they said that once they submit the information to us, they were going to provide us
Provide some of
that
that
information as well.
It'd be a Japanese willow, only gets about 12 feet high, right?
Yeah.
It's got a something like a tower.
And they want to set back from their wires naturally. I mean, that's the goal. Yeah.
So we need to send the letters that we send to this committee to.
When did you send letters to the committee?
Yeah, I haven't received, I haven't received anything.
Who did you send them to?
Yeah, so you should be sending those to National Grid.
They are the utility company,
Yep.
right?
Right.
We were given your name.
Yeah. Did you find the address?
I didn't see any letters, so I don't.
Yeah, I have not seen any.
Kelly usually receives the correspondence, but
Yeah, nothing to the. engineering department.
Electronically. You know.
by
We'll
email.
send it. Yeah, absolutely.
We're sending that.
But yeah, they should all get addressed to National Grid, as Ray says. You know, they're our utility.
Appreciate
company.
With a
your
CC to the board.
information.
Is there anybody in particular at National Grid?
Yeah, who would you recommend?
I don't have that name. Maybe Ray has a contact to personal, but whoever he met with is a planner, but.
Yeah. Allow me to get that to you after the meeting,
Okay, thank you.
because I should have that. Airport, engineering
Thank you.
department.
No problem, thank you.
So we've submitted, grant applications to the FAA for the design, cost associated with the AWAS system as well as the parking lot reconstruction. So it'll be interesting to see what takes place as far as funding of various federally aided projects as we move forward. We are also meeting up with a consultant, regarding the terminal building as well. So that's supposed to happen beginning of next week. They are just awaiting the cost breakdown from their estimator.
We get a lot of planes flying in.
It's been busy. It's been very busy, yeah, which is a good thing.
Good thing
selling
is usually that
fuel.
FA money doesn't usually get entangled with other federal funds, so
No, the
you never know, but,
No, right, but the concern that I have is specifically with New York State. So whether it's an FAA, but even our bridge projects.
yeah, no,
So what concerns me as we move forward is that our bridge projects have a state component.
yeah.
And since it has a state component, one of the requirements is that it has the WBE, NVE requirements associated with it.
Yeah.
In New York State, that's 30%. And so potentially that could be problematic to New York State.
Yeah.
If the federal government comes down saying all DEI is to be removed.
Right.
So it depends on,
And we're still doing it.
and so if New York State is going to dig their heels in the sand, potentially that could be problematic for all of New York
Although
State.
NYSEC was making a pitch to get rid of that too, so, you know, that was last year,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether New York State fights back on it.
Right.
So.
And I'm just talking about the percentage of
Correct.
MBEs, right?
Water District, I was contacted by Orchard Dodge regarding additional water service. They are proposing a large addition to their facility, roughly 15,000 to 16,000 square feet as a maintenance. building, and they recognize, number one, that they would like to have more water for that purpose, but then also they would like to connect into the county sewer system. So they are going to get me some additional information as far as the anticipated usage. Then we'll send it to the water and sewer subcommittee before coming back to committee here, as well as sending it over to Green, since we'll need to get there. I have a meeting tomorrow with the consultants regarding the new water tank project. They've completed all of their field survey work. They're finalizing their hydraulic model, and they've come up with a draft preliminary plan as far as the location and the access of how to get to the tank site located just on the edge of the airport property. So hopefully once we get that ironed out, that would allow us to then go do some tree clearing because we'll need to get a piece of equipment up there to do our soil borings to make sure that it's an appropriate site as far as depth of bedrock and things of that nature for the structure.
Ray, if that passes, do you think they'll be into construction of it this year?
No,
It'll be
I
next
don't.
year.
It'll be next year. Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the, again, the proximity to FAA,
Yeah.
we'll need to get FAA approval, and that's just going to take, not that it's going to be necessarily an issue, but it just takes them an awfully long time as far as that approval process.
Right.
Yeah, and it just, as a matter of fact, I just found out that before this meeting that the environmental person that we have been in contact with as far as our FAA projects here, she was on probation.
Didn't make it. Okay.
And she was the only one in the region.
So now you gotta break
She was the
another one
only
in.
one, and unfortunately, she was the only one in this district.
And
So now we're trying to figure out our next steps.
who to use? Huh?
Yeah.
So I'd rather have nobody.
Absolutely, I'm
That's-
fine
that's
with
a
that.
terrible statement.
I'm fine with that.
Just have our engineer do it and say, this works, you know, right?
Yeah, permitting will be a breeze. Two resolutions, both pertaining to, agreements with New York State DOT as far as accepting funds associated with two airport projects. First one is, regarding funds for the master plan, and again, this is reimbursement.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
And the second one is for the airport lighting.
I'll move that one.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
So that's 17,000 coming back from the state on the lighting, and then 51, or my apologies, on the master plan, and then 51,000 coming back from the state on the airport lighting.
BJ will be impressed, he didn't spend much money this, I want that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still recovering from last.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You answered one already.
Okay.
Amador. Amador, have you heard anything?
I have not heard anything, no.
Nothing.
I have not heard anything. Again, last time they were in the midst of their due diligence, but other
They got
than
the
that.
information for the sewer and all that from you guys. right?
Absolutely, yeah. They had anything that they had requested. We actually got together with the town of Greenport.
Okay.
They wanted data regarding the water system, the daily usage, so on and so forth. So we collectively sent all of that information over to them, and it's been in their court.
Yeah, we haven't
Yes, I
heard
heard it
anything
was
either.
coming 2026, that they were gonna
Looking.
come back to the table 2026.
I have not heard anything.
I'll find out. for you.
Hey,
The other question is, we got somebody came to our town the other day, that the land is for sale across from, Village Dodge going up north on 66, right past Skate Bar Road on that same side.
Yeah.
Between there and they're looking to get, they were looking to buy that and get it into the Commerce Park, but I don't know, I told them, I said, I don't know if that side of the road is in the Commerce Park, and you have to go through the county to even get that
Yeah.
passed through, so.
So, I've had a discussion with the gentleman that owns it.
Okay.
And he's considering it to be a pseudo commerce park. He's doing it on his own.
Oh, okay.
So when he used the term, because he used the term with me as well, an extension of the commerce park,
And that's what
it
I.
is really not an extension of the commerce park.
Okay.
It's a private individual that's interested in subdividing it into a total of 12 lots, if I remember
Right,
correctly.
right,
For the purposes of expanding or providing commercial space or industrial space for.
Now, would he be hooking?
He has also made a request to the district regarding connection to both water and sewer. However, based on my phone call with him, I said I need more information as far as size, what the anticipated usage is going to be before I can even bring it to the water and sewer subcommittee. So that was about 2 months ago, and I have not received any information from him on that.
Is that the parcel where they had that like impromptu camp set up for a little while?
Well, they had a guy brought his camper in there. He was arguing with his brother who owned it. They had to figure that out. They were looking at it for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mike Tucker
But there's
talked
currently a
about
sign,
it.
there's currently a sign there.
They were gonna put marijuana in there. They're gonna do everything, but I think they're gonna do something decent, so.
Yeah, so, and I don't think he's gone before planning board.
He hasn't.
Yeah.
He just came to the office asking questions, and I said, well, are you sure you gotta go in front of the county for
Yeah.
Commerce Park? But then, you know. he
Yeah,
can say-
so it's not, yeah,
He's calling it
it's
that.
Private.
Yeah, correct. He calls it an extension, but it's really has nothing to do with the Commerce.
Right.
And I did speak to Mike Tucker about that as well, and Mike Tucker says, by all means, you know, he supports it, the fact of creating additional commerce space. But again, it's nothing to do with the county, it's an individual.
And I do have one more.
We're gonna charge him royalties if he wants to use Commerce
That's
Park.
I'm gonna consider him to be out of district use.
Have you heard anything about Stockville Road, right as soon as you turn into Stockville off 66 on the left? We had somebody come talk about that. They're gonna develop that. For,
I have not heard anything.
we've got just verbal.
Okay.
They're looking to put a restaurant up there. They're gonna put cabins and everything like that. I said, well, again, you gotta go to the county if you wanna hook to the system.
Yeah.
You gotta come to the town. We gotta approve everything. You see what you're planning on.
Yeah, no, that's new. I have not heard.
As soon as you make the turn Stockville, all that land to the left.
I thought they were putting in, wasn't there solar going back there or something?
No,
A
a
little
little further
further
back.
in, yeah.
That's
Oh, further
about
back.
halfway down.
That's that really wet ground that Belltown had some grain in.
That's down there where the solar field's going. That field there is all. So, but this is before that. It's up on the hill there
Oh,
on the left. As soon as you turn on it, we got a solar field to the right.
Yeah.
And right across from there, it's all open land. He's talking.
Where they got that
about-
lawnmower bolted to the barn a little bit down the
Oh,
road.
yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah,
That's
you're
the one.
right. That is the one.
All right, that's all the questions.
Some guys have to
Yeah, but
go-
Everything's happening up there in that area.
Yeah.
right now, so.
Yeah, all
I have not heard of that.
Okay.
Bouncing around, I don't know. It's the most chaotic.
Apartment complex in up in there.
I had gotten a phone call, from a developer.
Yeah.
Actually was a developer, full disclosure, I used to work with and do a lot of work with. Actually,
All I
he's
saw was.
currently working on a pair of projects here in Hudson. And he indicated he was, looking at the project, but he's just doing his due diligence. is all.
What do they put for a color card?
There's a lot out there.
Yeah.
I thought they had
Yeah.
a reserve, separate as a reserve.
Yeah, so going back to my town engineer days
Yeah.
with Stockport,
I
so
would wish
they
that
entered into an
was done.
intermunicipal agreement with Greenport.
Yeah.
Similar to what we did with the, line coming from the county where they purchased
Certain
a
amount.
capacity within your plan.
Ray was kind of, not right now, he's kind of throwing this out yesterday and that's why they have the capacity. So he was kind
Yeah.
of excited about it.
Yeah, and there should, if you look into the files, there should be an intermunicipal agreement between the town and the.
I believe
two
it.
towns.
I believe them. I believe them.
All right, no other questions for Ray. We'll move on to facilities. Ryan's got a whole stack of resolutions. He's been busy.
I saved one month. Just to breathe it through. Make up for everybody else. Yeah, I know, right? Humane Society.
He doesn't spend quite as much money as Ray does.
No,
He's,
I try to be easy on you guys. They stopped farming.
Are they?
I borrowed them from somebody. I'm waiting to get my prescription so I can take it myself, so.
all right, let's move on to
All
facilities.
right, real quick, 401, had some front door repairs. The county attorney's ceiling, we had a little issue with it. We had to re-brace it, almost collapsed. As you're aware, the Chambers project is ongoing. Over at the jail, we had an issue. One of the workers actually fell through the ceiling. Thank God he was all right. I heard he was about a 9-foot fall, right on his head, and he was back. It had happened on a Friday afternoon. He was back to work on a Monday.
There you go.
Yeah, so, yeah. So luckily we were able to put it back together and, so.
Stop working everything up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're running the computer wires and they went through a hatch. And I think he got it was Friday in the afternoon. They're trying to hurry up. So he tried to crawl up on it and the whole thing came right down. It's happened before. You gotta be, you have to walk on it's a metal ceiling that snaps together. So you gotta be real careful. I think that's what happened because it was like 2:00 in the afternoon on a Friday. So, then I had a little inmate scuffle in the wall, like repair the walls. Let's see. Let's see here. Highway, down there repairing a lot of lights, moves a desk up in engineering, ran a sub panel for Livingston in their salt bin, so, they could, get a bunch of block heaters for their trucks plugged in. Let's see here, airport, we had some PAPI light issues, we're still trying to work on them. 911, the old tower, we disconnected and moved the transfer switch and the generator. We're gonna repurpose both. We're just waiting for nicer weather. The generator is gonna go to Valatia, and the transfer switch we're gonna use at one of the outposts. So.
Issues with the grinder from Whittier?
No.
That's been good?
Yeah.
There's been no issues with,
Haven't had nothing.
Nothing.
So, no.
Maybe they're not putting that thing in it.
well, they're not, because they're not giving, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, like I said, we've had no issues, with the system right now.
That's
So,
good.
Yeah.
That's all we
We,
need here, right, you know?
That's it.
yeah, we stepped up, pumping out, that would be leg 2, the first one, 'cause that's the first point where it's gonna hit. So we pumped that out more than the other ones, but now it's been, fairly decent right now. We haven't had no really issues at all, so.
Move it. Second. What are we buying?
Yeah, let me catch up now. Yeah.
He's recording,
It's replacing an old one, so it's, she had her.
Second.
We got her.
Motion in a second, all in favor on the zero turn.
The court system, yeah, this is just our normal, enter into the agreement to accept it with I think the dates are off, so.
It's 100% maximum.
Yep.
You need the correct dates on this? Is there something?
It's actually on the right one. It's on the, 4/1 to 3/26.
Okay, yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's good on there, just not on the resolution. And then, this is our, yeah.
Did you do an all in favor?
No, we didn't. We had a motion in a second. We need an all in favor on the courthouse.
Aye.
And then this one to declare that.
Trying to keep it under 200,000 for that big resale change.
Yeah, she just wouldn't pass no more, so we had to get rid of it. It was a hand-me-down, but we got a couple years out of it.
Motion in a second, all in
No.
favor?
Who seconded it?
Oh,
Oh, thank you. Many people thought-
yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
This one is, to authorization
I'll move
to.
it.
Second.
Motion in a second, all in favor?
This last one is the fill position fully refunded, 100% reimbursable from the courthouse.
Motion in a second, all in favor?
Last thing we have.
Yeah.
Brian, you got it down to a science. You come up last, they're gonna be passed quick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why Ray
Hey, it's not because we're that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We were real busy last week, and I was like, oh, gotta get that in.
Sounds like
Question
we need
everybody else, but not you. That's fine.
Sounds like we need to engineer some radiant heat for her scale though.
Yeah, there you go.
Or clean it out.
I do have a resolution request authorizing the city of Hudson to use the 560 Warren Street parking lot for farmers market.
Second. Aye.
Motion in a second, all in favor?
Aye.
We're a bunch of salt down there.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion in a second to adjourn. All in favor? Any questions?